Okay people, this is himself and welcome to another Tekken 7 King guide. In this video I'm going to explain the best way to use Jaguar Step 2. So this move comes out of his Jaguar Step and there's actually three versions of it. After the first spin it's -9 on block, after the second it's -2 and beyond that it's 0. But what doesn't change is the frames on hit, because in all cases it's +12 and it forces crouch. What that means is that a crouch throw attempt is guaranteed and you can go for either the basic throws or the chain throw starters. Now you may be wondering, what is the best way to use this? And the most obvious is after a knockdown. If they get up, then you can force a mix up with Jaguar Step 4, and on block this puts you at +8, which is seriously good. The only issue is that there are often ways out, including just staying on the floor, so it seriously weakens the setup. But there is one situation where this becomes way more useful, and it's this, the J King setup. Here, if they stay down, you can do one spin and then pick them up with DF4. What that does is it forces them to tech roll, and that means that they then face a mix up between the 4 and the 2. Now since you do 2 spins, the 4 becomes unblockable, and that means the only way to avoid it is to duck. But if they do that, then they risk eating the 2 and facing a crouch throw mix up. The issue though is that the 2 is kind of obsolete, and the reason for that is that you have Jaguar Step DF4. On hit, this is more damage than Jaguar Step 2, so it makes it the better option. That is unless you're on this stage, because here Jaguar Step 2 is potentially more rewarding, but you have to use it in a particular way. It's not worth doing after a normal juggle because powerbomb breaks the floor, and in my opinion it's much better to get that extra damage. What you should do instead is use the floor break specific combo and then spring the trap. That way people are more likely to tech roll and a second powerbomb isn't going to break the floor anyway. Now you may be wondering why you'd go for the elbow rather than DF4, and the reason is what it sets up on hit. As I already mentioned, crouch throw attempts are guaranteed, but here both basic crouch throws, if unbroken, will break the floor, so in effect what you end up with is a launcher. Now one thing I did try was going into chain throws and ending with muscle buster. The standalone version breaks the floor, so I was hoping you get the same result here, but sadly you don't, so the basic ones are still the option to go for. Now to avoid the elbow and the unblockable, they can just stay down, but as I mentioned earlier, we can pick up with DF4. You can also end this with a spinning powerbomb, but sadly you don't get another floor break. Also, if they happen to guess right and block the elbow, after 2 spins you're only at -2, so you still have options to sidestep. Now the next thing you should do is check out my crouch throws video. That'll teach you the other ways to use them and the OK you can get. Also, make sure you follow me on Twitter. There's numerous short clips I upload that don't get a full video and you might be missing out.